everybody, and a very warm welcome back to my mobile studio and of course the lovely Clarabel. Now you find me already on the motorway. I left home a little bit later than I had expected. I wanted to be away by about 9 o'clock. It's now gone 10 o'clock and yeah, I'm trying to make up a bit of ground. But you're joining me on a brand new adventure in the lovely Clarabel, and I am on the M20 right now. I've got about another 3 hours journeying ahead of me. So I hear you ask, where am I going? Well, good question. I am going to a place that I should have gone back to many times over the years, and when I look back I realise that I actually haven't been there for 45 plus years. That's crazy. And at the same time, I've never ever painted there. So the place I'm going to, as I say, is 3 hours up the road. It's the M20, M25, M3, and I'm heading down to a lovely area in the south of England called the New Forest. And the campsite that I'm initially going to is one that is set between Lyndhurst and Brockenhurst, and it's called Holland's Wood. It comes well recommended, so I booked a couple of nights there to see how we get on. And my aim, as I've never done it before, is to paint as much of the New Forest areas that I can possibly fit in the time that I'm down there. And I wanted to bring you guys along for the journey to enjoy the experiences as I enjoy them as much as I can. I want to film as much as possible while I'm down there, and the films that I create will be both on this channel, the mobile channel, but they will also be on my wildlife art channel, because indeed you've got lots of wildlife down there, and I will be painting in oils, I'll be painting in gouache, a lot of watercolor, ink and wash, pen studies, whatever I can fit in the few days that I'm there. And I just wanted to say, I wanted to share that with you. And there is another reason. This will be the very, very first time in nearly 2 years since I've had Clarabel that we've actually been out for any length of time. I've done a couple of odd nights away locally just to test out things, see how they function. But she's had all the makeover now that pretty much that she's going to get. She's had the new roof and the ceilings all done, and the fridge, the electrics, is all ready to go. And I have never ever been away in her for more than one night, so it's a double celebration. I am going to a lovely area, and I'm going to be painting for the next few days. Whatever I want to paint, whatever I see, I'm going to be photographing some of the local wildlife as best I can, and incorporating that into future paintings. But I'm also going to be sleeping in Clarabel and looking after myself for the next few days. So it's all very, very exciting, and I just wanted to share that lot with you guys. So I'm right at the start of it, and I've got another 3 hours journeying, so I'm going to probably sign off here and probably tune back in again when I'm closer to the New Forest and the topography changes, and we start seeing some of the wooded areas and some of the gorse areas that are typifying that lovely area. And yeah, I can't wait to get down there, can't wait to get the paints out and get painting. So join me, look at both channels to see what's coming up, and I'm sure there'll be, unless things go terribly wrong, there'll be an awful lot of film coming out over the next few weeks that will show you my experiences and the fun that I had and the van life, all those things. Catch you all very soon. Take care. Well, there you go, people. I have arrived at the campsite. What a stunning place it is. Very peaceful, very quiet, and I may go out somewhere tomorrow to find pastures new, as it were, to paint from. But today I think that I'm just going to come out here in the evening light and set up and just paint something. It is very, very pretty. Let me just pan you around. And every edge of this huge field has got lovely stunning vistas. And if you walk out further here beyond, you've got lovely trees, some stunning things. And in the morning the sun comes up over there somewhere, and there's at this time of year some lovely mists on the ground. So I aim to be up fairly promptly tomorrow, and then maybe do a little painting with this tree and maybe a few ponies involved later. It's not a huge interesting vista through there. I do love the tree though, gotta say. And over in this direction there's a lot more shade, but in amongst those wooded areas there are some wonderful old gnarly trees that one can get involved with painting. About 1:30 in the afternoon, so I'm going to go and eat something, and then I'm going to prepare and get out and do a painting. Catch you all later. Hi everyone, and a very warm welcome back. Now this is my first painting ever in the New Forest, and I am only a few yards away from Clarabel, and I've managed to park fairly close to this beautiful open ground here, surrounded with wonderful oak trees and other trees that I don't know, or I know some of them, but not all of them. But I just wanted to cut the ice, as it were, or break the ice, and just get something down for tonight, just something fairly simple and enjoyable. And then I'm going to have something to eat, and then I may just come back with a bit of watercolor or ink and just see what I can do in the later part of the evening. Okay, so I am all set up. The canvas here, or the panel, is pre-colored, and it's a very smooth texture. I've done that by putting several coats of gesso on with a roller, with a very fine 4-inch radiator roller, and then I've sanded it down. You still get a little pitting, but it is very, very smooth, and next to no marks from a brush at all. And then I've just stained it with burnt sienna, let that dry, and the only reason that this is here so that I could focus up with the camera. That was all that was for. So I'm just going to come in with a little bit of umber, nothing much more than that, and I just want to sort of suggest what we've got. We've got a lot of beautiful light in the trees. Now the light is coming from way over here, and I just wanted to suggest these beautiful trees. There's a lot of light from this one in the foreground, and a couple more as they come down here. I want to end them about maybe I ought to end them just about here. So let's just bring that back a little bit. So I don't want them too dominant. They are there, of course, but I want to have this nice big one with that lovely, gorgeous late afternoon light on it. A lot of these trees are oaks, and beautiful to see. Now we do get oaks everywhere, of course, but there is just an absolute explosion of them throughout this very, very ancient forest and woodland. Let's just clean the brush out very, very quickly. And I think I don't need to put too much. There's not anything, well, there's absolutely nothing going on in the sky. So I think I can bash the sky with a big old brush. I'm going to come in with some, what am I going to come in? A little bit of cobalt and a little bit of the Phthalocyanine blue. That's very, very strong, as you can see. Beautiful, strong colour. I don't know if that's picking up on the camera, how far set down it is. I'm going to add to that a little bit of Naples yellow. Now, the Naples yellow will temper the blue. Then I'm going to come in with some more white. The white I'm using for this picture is a Michael Harding's warm white. I do like that colour, and I think if you put it in there, you can see how strong that is. You come up here with a stronger blue at the top there, and then we're going to influence that with some Naples yellow in the mix. I'm going to come in and I'm going to use some of my liquid. That's the Thixotropic liquid. I'm just going to bash in some of the light low down. I'm going to bash in some umber, some ultramarine blue, and some little bit of phthalo green, and maybe a little bit of yellow oxide. And I want to come in here with a very, very positive, very, very strong dark. A couple of the wardens just checked in. It was really nice to have a talk with that. I think that's a little bit too turquoisey, so I'm going to need to kill that back. Now, the best way to kill the turquoise back is just going to put a little bit of red, a little bit of alizarin crimson into that colour, just to knock it back a little bit, maybe a little bit more. Put some down by the side of the mix, carry on mixing until you reach your desired effect. I think that is a violet that I can quite happily live with. I'm going to come in here, just pale it off a little bit, and then add a little bit more blue. So we are going away from greens, and we are heading very much into the violet territory. Now, the thing about any of this sort of painting is that the values that you see, sometimes you have to lie about what you see. Sounds a bit crazy, doesn't it? You know, you're trying to paint a picture of what you're looking at, and you then start telling fibs about it. Well, I think the answer to it is that yes, you do in a way, because you can see a great distance when you are painting, and you can see a lot of clarity in the form, and a camera can't disseminate that either. When you take a picture, the camera just puts everything pretty much together and gives you a whole different image to choose and work from. So sometimes when you are painting like this, you can just come in and you can just play around with some of the color temperatures and the lights and the darks of what you're doing, and that way you can achieve the sense of a greater distance between where you are and the subjects, and also all the different layers and permutations of subjects coming through the scene to where you are. What I want to come in now is I want to look at a lovely evening, warm. I don't know, what I'm mixing up at the moment is way too on the orangey side, to be fair. So I'm going to slosh that down a little bit with a bit of warm white, and then I'm going to add some lemon and a little bit of my cobalt turquoise. I love this color. Cobalt teal. I'm trying to find a nice strong light. So that's just been tempered with too much red. I made a lovely color, but it is so grey that it's unbelievably useless to me. So let's just remix. So keep the red out of it. Okay, let's come in with some yellow and some warm white. We're going to knock that back, and then we're going to put in some cobalt teal, and we're going to see what that looks like. I'm going to come in with some Naples yellow just to kill it off a little bit. Let's just see that. Let's put that next to it. See, there's a big difference in that color, and I think that's the one that I'm looking for. So I'm going to come in here now. I'm going to put in this form of land that goes through the back there. We've got this nice light passage of darks and lights through here. Been using. Need to get this small brush going, and I'm going to come in and I'm just going to bring up the level of that, because you don't see too much of the trees, just a little suggestion of dark here and there. And so I left too much, but that was fine. It's not a problem with any of that, just that I think is a little better for what I was aiming for. Now already, you see, I'm thinking I ought to warm some of this up. If I do, I'm going to be chasing more light. So in a way, I'm glad that there's a little bit of the imprimatura base color popping through some of these values. And shape that up, cut into that shape, cut into this one. The imprimatura is cutting, the imprimatura is popping through some of these trees and some of this grass, sorry, not the trees, I'm not thinking what I'm saying. Yeah, it's popping through the grasses and warming up some of the values, which is great, because that's what I was looking to do, that's what I wanted. And I wasn't sure whether to maybe add a little bit of color into that to make that happen, or just leave it be. So I've decided that I will leave it be and let the imprimatura pop through and warm up some of those exquisite greens. I'm going to put in a little bit of light here and there just to suggest that we can see through whatever is beyond.
Been at it for a little while. Okay, so I think we've got enough of this tree in front. What I can do is just pop in the odd extra little bit of dark in here, just to break up some of these shapes, especially in here where they sort of show the tree behind, maybe a little bit more. There is a lovely little mare and foal. Now, I'm not going to be good at doing this, but she is just a little shape down there, away, away, away. And have a go at putting her in. A very awful picture. It'll look more like an old mule and a beautiful pony. And I'm fighting, holding everything with the wind, and there is the foal there next to her. I'm going to warm them up. She is a lovely brown colour. If you are a horse painter, please look away now. But I was trying to put a pony in. Ah, dear lordy. I think I've got to practice a little bit more. Now it looks more like a hippopotamus. Maybe I should have just put a hippopotamus in. It's going to be a giant horse before I finish. I may even rub that out in a minute because I'm pretty embarrassed about that. Let's just try and shape it if I can. It's going. I'm not happy with that at all. And she's moved, so let's get rid of that. It wasn't to be. Never mind, another time. A bit more practice, and I'll have painted a horse in my scene. What I'm going to do now, last and not least, I'm going to put in some cloudy sky values to sky holes. Now I'm coming back into these light values here, and I'm just going to try and put in a few lighter marks that suggest the sky popping through. Now, one thing to bear in mind, if you use the same value as these, they will look quite odd. So the trick is to come up with a value that's slightly darker, not so obvious, slightly darker, so that when you pop them in, they look about right. It's because everything around a light object that is dark will make it appear even lighter. So if you use the same value, you're going to end up with little white neon dots all over your tree, and that's not the idea. He says as he's trying to avoid little neon dots all over his tree. May come back in and just put in a few more darks where I've lost out to some of them. And I want to put in a few taps in here to our sky holes, to our main trees, and what is going on in there. I've never used this camera before. Bit late to tell you that, and I've never used this camera before when it comes to painting outside. It's one of my studio cameras, and I decided to bring it along with me, so hopefully it's done the job properly as I'd want or expect, but I don't know until I get this film unloaded. What I will do is I'm going to put in a little bit of life anyway. I'm going to put in a few birds maybe that are flying around. There we go, just a few birds, make it very English, very lovely, I hope. Anyway, there you go, one painting of the New Forest in oils, just outside Brockenhurst in Hollands Wood, and it's a lovely area, and I think I've done enough. I'm just going to sign the picture and then I'm going to call it a day and go and cook myself an evening meal. Now I do hope that you've enjoyed this painting as much as I've enjoyed painting it for you, and also it being my very first one in the area. So I hope you got something from it, and I hope you join me for the next one from the area. I don't know where I'm going to be or what it's going to be, but hopefully it'll be a nice picture. Oh, just as I painted some crows, they've all just flown in. Look at that. Excellent. Well, I was justified putting those in, wasn't I? Anyway, where was I? I was saying, yeah, join me for the next painting that I do. As I say, it may even be here, because I am told that first thing in the morning to my left over there is always a beautiful, well, not always, but this time of year there is always a beautiful early morning mist rising as sun rises over there. So the sun rises through that mist. Now I hope that I don't embarrass myself by sleeping in. I am hoping that I can get out there promptly and get some nice, at least photographs to start with, so I've got something to work with, and maybe a little painting of the scene, maybe a watercolor, who knows. And we'll see how we go, and hopefully I'll have something more to show you shortly. So join me then. Look forward to your company. Thanks for staying with this one. All the best for now. Bye bye.